you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do. Yeah, bad boys, what you gonna do?
Measuring crime using statistics, surveys, and indexes. Crime is a prominent issue in politics, the media, and the public. There's been extensive debate regarding the best way to measure crime, and there are some limitations to the existing methods. Crime is measured by Statistics Canada in 3 ways: Uniform Crime Reports, the General Social Survey, and the Crime Severity Index. Uniform crime reports provide detailed data on the number and characteristics of crimes that are reported to police. Someone who's afraid of being a victim of crime might want to know where the lowest murder count is. However, the total number of crimes in a given area is not an accurate representation of how dangerous that area is relative to another. For example, in 2009, Ontario had the highest number of homicides at 178. Someone looking at this would conclude that they had a higher risk of being killed in Ontario than Nunavut, which only had 6 murders that year. But if we look at population size, we see that Ontario has almost 13 million people, while Nunavut has only 31,000. This means that we can't compare the two because we don't have a standardized measurement of crime. In statistics, data is standardized by taking a raw number, the number of crimes, and dividing by a base number, the population, to produce a rate. This table shows the rates of homicide by province. Now we see a reversal of our earlier estimates of crime. Nunavut has a rate of 18.6 for homicides per 100,000 people, while the rate for Ontario is only 1.36. This means that people in Nunavut have a greater likelihood of being murdered than in Ontario. But this does not mean that Nunavut is a dangerous place to live, since roughly 19 out of 100,000 still represents a very small % chance of being a victim, so don't be afraid to visit Canada's youngest territory. However, it does tell us that Ontario may be big, but it's also pretty safe. There is a big problem with uniform crime reports. They're missing data. What about all of the crimes that aren't reported to police? The number of these crimes is referred to as the dark figure of crime. How can we measure something that isn't reported? We use victimization surveys. The General Social Survey is a telephone questionnaire asking Canadians about how often they've been a victim of crime, including those that aren't reported to the police. Victimization surveys complement official statistics to provide a more accurate picture of crimes in Canada. Since they're telephone questionnaires, they're cost-effective and can reach people all over Canada very quickly. However, they do not include people with unlisted numbers, cell phones, or no phone at all. So just how big is the dark figure of crime in Canada? According to the 2009 GSS, a whopping 69% of violent crimes, 62% of household crimes, like breaking and entering, and 71% of personal thefts, not including robbery, were not reported to the police. These are huge numbers and show how vital victimization surveys are to understanding crime. The GSS also measures other variables of interest. Respondents did not report their victimization to the police, largely because they felt the crime was not important enough. Crime also has an emotional impact on victims, and anger was cited as the most common result. The GSS also asks how safe Canadians feel, and it turns out they generally feel pretty safe. The Crime Severity Index was introduced in 2008 to address a key problem with official statistics. All crimes, from homicide to vandalism, count as one crime equally. Since smaller property crimes are the vast majority of crimes, if they go down, it looks as if all crime is going down. Even violent crimes could be going up. An index is a measure of something, in this case crime severity, that combines many factors to create one score. If an index isn't weighted, all factors are valued equally and added together. In a weighted index, factors are not valued equally. The CSI is a weighted index and multiplies the number of prison sentences for a crime by the average length of the sentences. An important consideration for indexes is that if some data are missing, for example, the number of sentences for robberies in a small town in Saskatchewan, the overall score would be lower. Statistics Canada uses a national average of sentencing to avoid regional differences in reporting. From 1998 to 2006, the overall crime rate fell 16%, but the Crime Severity Index fell 21%. This means that while crime rates declined, the crimes that were reported to police were less severe. Still, there are some problems with the CSI. Sentences are based on judges' discretion, which means that sentences are influenced by how lenient a judge may be and aren't entirely objective. It's also unclear if sentence lengths include time spent in prison before trial, which can be months and even years. Official statistics, especially crime statistics, are subject to changes other than what's being measured. Laws change constantly, and as a result, so do police practices, sentencing, and even definitions of what crime is. If marijuana were legalized, there would be a significant reduction in the crime rate. Official statistics, victimization surveys, and the Crime Severity Index are the tools that we have, and they provide important information about the world of criminal activity. Thank you for watching.